Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. As you come in, if you would hit like and share for me. This is Pastor Cooley. I'm here with Dr. Tiffany Lovelady. We're glad to have her as our guest. We'll give you all just a minute to come on, and we're just going to sit down and have a good round table conversation. So if you would, as you come in, hit like, hit share, let others know that we're on. We're going to be talking about mental health, and particularly mental health and dealing in the African American community. So come on in and join us. We'd be glad to have you. We'll give you just a minute to like and share for me. I see you all coming in. See you coming in. Come on in. Hit like and share for me. We're going to have a talk concerning mental health. And again, it's myself and Dr. Tiffany Lovelady here in Ridgeland, Mississippi. We are live and so glad to have all of you on with us on this evening. What I'm going to do, I see you coming on. Again, if you would hit like and share for me, we would appreciate it. As you come on, hit like and share, and I'm going to, at this time, let Dr. Tiffany Lovelady introduce herself, tell you some things about herself, and then we'll get started with the questions. We have a couple of questions we want to go over, and after she introduces herself, I want to tell you my purpose or our purpose for doing this, okay? Let's do that, all right?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Again, I'm Tiffany Lovelady. I'm in private practice here in Ridgeland, Mississippi. I have a license in professional counseling. My background is that for years I was a school counselor and then made the jump into clinical mental health.
Gotcha.
From there, but undergraduate degree from Mississippi State University, master's from there, and then a doctorate from Mississippi College.
Okay.
And so, but as far as the clients that I see, all ages, various issues. Typically, I see a lot of clients who are dealing with anxiety, depression.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Okay. Things happen.
Right, things happen.
Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what happened, but let me tilt this so that won't happen again. We do apologize for that, but I think everybody can say, I'm going to tilt it this way so it won't fall forward like it just did. But as you come in, hit like and hit share, and hopefully everybody can hear me and see me well. And again, I'm going to tilt this so it won't fall off. Okay. Kind of working by myself. I left my crew at home, so I'm doing this alone. All right, come on. Hello, Brother Roscoe. Hello, Naomi. If you all would hit like and share as you come in. Hello, wife. Glad to have you. Pray that this doesn't fall off again. All right.
But look, things happen, so you just have to go with it.
You have to go with the flow. All right. So again, we're here talking about mental health, and my purpose for having this roundtable discussion, because in the African American community, particularly in church, it's unheard of, it's untalked about. There are many people who will make you feel like you're not in faith, you don't need no counselor and all of this. And so we want to dispel those myths and let everyone know that there's help for you. And I know as a pastor, with COVID-19 and all that's going on and people being laid off and just all of the uncertainty, mental health issues has probably tripled, may have even quadrupled. And so we want to talk about that. We want to get you the information and the resources that you need, because knowledge is power. So that's very, very important. So we're going to go through a list of questions that we were given. Unfortunately, this particular time, we won't be able to necessarily, well, I guess you could send me your questions. I don't know if we'll be able to get to them tonight, but we want to go over some questions, some general questions, and then hopefully this information will help you, and maybe in the future we'll have another one.
Hopefully so.
Okay.
I would absolutely love to do that.
All right, and so let me just tell you where she's located. Again, her name is Dr. Tiffany Lovelady. Her address is 357 Town Center Place. That's Suite 400 in Ridgeland, Mississippi, 39157. And the office number is 1-888-561-3380. So if you need her assistance after this is over, give her a call, set up an appointment. Again, knowledge is power. You are not crazy. You're not out of your mind because you call on a counselor. If you have heart issues, you go to a heart doctor. If you have foot issues, you go to a foot doctor. And if you have head issues, then you go to a head doctor, okay? We're on the same page. But again, glad to have all of you on. Come on in, hit like and hit share. And so we're going to start with our list of questions now. This is very informal, but we want to go through some questions, some things we thought about, and some questions we got from a few other people that we thought you might ask or have concerns about. Question number one, Dr. Lovelady, is how does mental health, well, let me back up. Question number one is, why is mental health so important?
Mental health is so very important because it affects every area of your life.
Okay.
If you are mentally well, then you can perform well in any role that you have, whether it's work, as a parent, as a son, a daughter, a sister, a brother.
Okay.
If you feel bad, you typically do bad. And so it is necessary that you have mental well-being to be able to live life fully.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's just necessary. That's the foundation of you as far as living your life to the fullest and doing well and performing well in any role that you have in your life. It's necessary.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
So, Dr. Lovelady, if I'm not feeling well up here, I'm not going to act well out here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, because that is what's driving you.
Okay.
As far as how you perform in any role, it impacts your relationships.
Okay.
It can skew the way that you perceive things.
Right.
As far as how you look at the world.
Okay.
Whether if you have a pessimistic view or optimistic about it, or anything that comes your way has everything to do with your well-being and how you feel here and then outward.
Why do you think, Dr. Lovelady, just off the cuff here, why do you think that is so taboo in the African American community?
Because I think it has been where we haven't just taught as far as we keep our business at home.
At home. What goes on in this house stays in this house. Gotcha.
Stays in this house.
Gotcha.
And definitely you can see where that was necessary a lot of times.
Right.
Because if you kind of put your business out there, that could absolutely mean our safety or whatnot. And so we had to learn as far as just remaining safe a lot of times. And so that grew from there. And then it's also, as you pointed out before, the belief that even, I don't need to tell anybody else my business. I pray about it, I go to church, and that's enough.
Right.
But we'll absolutely touch on that as
right.
well.
But you and I both know, and me being a pastor, a lot of times that's not enough. And it's not negating scripture. It's not negating our need for God, but that sometimes you need other interventions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so I have clients that struggle with that. They come to me, and they'll bring that up in the counseling process, in the session, and just say how conflicted they are about it, because of course it's just that belief there and being taught certain things as far as you just don't come to counseling.
Right.
But if faith is a big part of who you are, when you come and sit in there, if that's important to you, then we're absolutely going to acknowledge that and use that. And so I am not someone who is standing in the place of, in the sense, I'm just here to help you be in a good place. And so if your faith is a lot of who you are, as it is to me as well, I'm not going to push it aside, or I'm not even standing in the place of or replacing and saying I know everything, but I'm just going to help you as far as just navigating that and whatever that needs to be worked on, or whatever issues that you have. I'm just a helper.
Just a helper. I'm just a helper. And I want our audience to know that, if you don't mind me sharing, that Dr. Lovelady is a Christian.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure in her practice, she's not here to minister or to give you the word. She's here to help whatever the issue is.
Absolutely.
Very good.
I would say I'm not a Christian counselor. And sometimes, things will come up as far as even saying, well, what do you think about a particular issue as far as with Christianity? And I would say, you know what, that's a conversation that you may want to have with your pastor.
Very good. Very good.
So I will redirect them in that way, because that's just not for me to do. First of all, I don't have the expertise. And then that's just a very personal relationship with God and everything. Then get into just if it's theology or what. That's just not who I am.
That's not who. And so,
and who I set out to be.
And so you bring up a point, so pastors can feel comfortable sending people to you because you're not going to try to skew their religious views or whatever. You're going to deal with the issue at hand, and then if something like that comes up, you're going to redirect it.
Absolutely.
Very good, very good. And I think a lot of pastors, they are most of them, they don't want to deal with it at all. And then I've known others who kind of make people feel bad. What's wrong with you? You don't have enough faith. And that's not the case. But they can send someone to you and feel safe.
Absolutely. I hope so. I hope so. And what I have seen just recently is that I've seen pastors saying, and to their congregation, go see it there.
Go see it there.
It's starting to normalize.
It is. I know back in the day. And honestly, with the suicide rate so high with pastors, we need to. Because, as a pastor, you get a lot of what they have going on, your congregation, and then also you're dealing with your own issues. And you may be married, but sometimes you just need to talk to somebody different.
Absolutely.
Very good, very good. All right, so pastors, if you're watching, you can feel safe. It's not a lack of faith. It's just like when you go to a doctor for an ailment. That's not a lack of faith. Okay, we still believe in healing, if you will, but we're going to go and find out what the diagnosis is and get the things we need to get so we'll know what to do in the natural. Very good. All right, very good. All right, our next question is, how does mental health affect your overall state of being? And I think you kind of talked about that. But can you elaborate a little bit more on how that's important?
Okay. So, for instance, if you have a job, per se, that's very stressful as a pastor.
Right.
As a pastor.
High stress.
Let him emphasize that.
High stress. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. And so, if you are in a place where you are not stable, because that's really what mental wellness is, as far as having balance in your life, per se, and being able to create that for yourself. If you are not coming from that standpoint, you will not be able to deal with the stress of that job. You may go in and go off on your staff. When one of your persons from the congregation comes to you
Mm-hmm.
for when they need you as far as helping them with whatever issue they may be dealing with.
Right.
You will not be in a place where you can hear them fully,
Right.
where you can respond to them fully, where you can't be empathetic with them,
Right.
and have all those things that they need to be able to give out. And so again, when we are well,
Mm-hmm.
when we're just well within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
then that just makes us a better person. You hear a lot of buzz about self-care.
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 Very good.
And sometimes people think that self-care is selfish.
Right.
But however, it's absolutely not. And that's something too that I really try to emphasize with my clients as well. Because when we take care of self
Mm-hmm.
first, again, we can exude all of that goodness to others.
Right. Right.
So it benefits others when we're our best selves. So it's necessary for us to do the things that's just necessary for us to be well and to be good. Just so we can be good when we go out and take on these different roles and different jobs and different responsibilities that we have in our lives. So again, that's why it's so imperative from that standpoint, because that sets the foundation for everything.
For everything. And what I heard, Dr. Lovelady, when you were saying that, it really would be selfish of me as a pastor, as a husband, as a father, not to take care of myself.
Absolutely.
Because if I don't, I'm not giving my wife what she needs, I'm not going to give my children, and I'm not going to give my congregation what they need.
Absolutely.
So not taking care of yourself can be selfish.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, even as counselors, ethically speaking, we are supposed to engage in self-care practices.
Very good.
Because if we come in and for instance, if we have a caseload that is just astronomical and we're burned out and we're worn out,
Mm-hmm.
how can I come into a room with you
Mm-hmm.
and really be present with you if I'm not well?
If you're not well. Very good. Very good. Very good. So I think of the scripture, since we're talking to, of course we have others on, but the church, if you will. 3 John 2 says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions prosper. So if my mind and my will and my emotions are not prospering, or they're not healthy, or they're not sound, I'm not going to be sound in any other area.
Absolutely.
Very good. Very
Absolutely.
good. Very good. As a pastor, a couple of things that we deal with a lot. One being dealing with people's grief.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know we've had some situations there in our congregation with grief. I mean, grief is grief, but it hits differently when it's unexpected. It hits differently when it's someone very young. You feel like they were not given, the time to go on and really live their life.
Right.
So as a counselor, what would you suggest to a pastor in dealing with a family who is grieving? I had a question here about that. Let me see here.
Number 2, maybe?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this question that we have. It says, how would you help someone who is going through grief because of a transition of a loved one and feel as if something was not complete with the person who transitioned? So we're dealing with grief now, okay? We're going to deal with grief, we're going to deal with depression, but we're really focusing in on grief, okay?
And so that's a very good question, and I think much needed as far as people just need to know. A lot of times, it's interesting that we really don't know what to expect when we're grieving.
Right.
And so part of what I do is talk about grief and what grief looks like, kind of what to expect, and to validate those emotions. So as a pastor, I would think it's just helpful a lot of times for you to just sit with them in it,
Right.
to be that emotional support.
Right.
Because if you look at it, it's nothing that we can really say
Gotcha.
that's going to lessen the blow.
Right.
You know, it's nothing there. And so most of the time, people just need for you to support them emotionally. And that may be just physically sitting with them.
Right.
You probably have done that.
Right.
Numerous of times.
Because as a pastor, sometimes, what do you say?
What do you say? And honestly, there's really nothing to say.
Right.
And so for me, if I have someone, that I'm working with who's actively grieving, it is really about validating their emotions, giving them really permission to feel whatever they are feeling, because sometimes there's the guilt there in the sense of being angry with God that comes up.
Very much so. Very much so.
And so if I create a space for them to say that, where I can say, you know what, it's okay for you to say that. You can say that in here. And I'm not going to tell you don't feel like that.
Right.
You're wrong you never question God in doing that, and as far as being judgmental in that sense. But really it's just saying, okay, say whatever it is you need to say so we can deal with it. Because when that happens, that's where the healing begins.
You hit on something that I want us to understand. As I was sharing with you earlier, I'm a pastor, but I'm a mortician by trade. So I know both sides. A lot of times though, in Christendom and in faith-based organizations, in that particular space, there's really no understanding of the grief process. And a lot of people don't know that there's a process. I think sometimes even, I've always kind of been in mortuary science, if you will, but when I really got into it, but I think growing up as a little boy, we want to go have the celebration, the homegoing celebration or the funeral service or memorial, and we want to go to the repast, and then we want people to just go on. And is that really fair? No, it's not.
I would just say no, it's not. When you lose someone, and I think we can all relate to losing someone close to us. Yes, it may get easier in the sense of the pain is not as intense. But we never get just over it. You learn to adjust to life without that person in it. But grief is a roller coaster. Grief does like this. It's not linear. We usually think of grief as you're really upset, you're sad, you're crying a lot at the very time that the person leaves here physically. And so we often think it's up here and then it goes down. It does not, because if you think about it, there will be times maybe the person dies, but then their birthday comes around, a Mother's Day, or you may hear a song on the radio that reminds you of that person, or maybe a scent that reminds you of that person, or when there's another celebration and you recognize that person is not there, and grief can hit you in that moment. And so recognizing and understanding that grief does do like that, and it's okay, because I've had that too as well. My mom died 6 months ago and I'm still crying a lot, and usually my response is, well, that's okay. And so that's okay.
Well, what I hear you saying, and we don't really give people the permission to grieve. It's like we want them to just go on and be okay.
Absolutely.
And we don't understand that it's a process. And one of the things I try to tell my members is that it's okay to grieve.
Absolutely.
It's okay to grieve. You don't have to hold all of that in. Of course, and you can talk a little bit more. One of the things they talked to us about was chronic grief. Okay, when it gets to that point, then we need to seek other help. But grief is a process. And then I know a little bit about the 5 stages of grief.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about those 5 stages?
And so what Pastor Cooley, I'm sorry.
Just okay. Doctor's okay.
Is referring to is the stages of grief, Kubler-Ross. And so it's typical that you go through 5 stages. However, the stages can be intertwined. And so those stages would be
denial.
You're right, denial. anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. And so those are the typical 5 stages. But as I said, you can go through those different stages, but they are not necessarily progressive. And there you may, have anger right off. And you probably see that, and you'll see someone lose someone, and they're so angry. Right. That they really accept it, but they are so mad about it. They are. They may go from anger and then be depressed about it. And so it doesn't necessarily happen step. Right. And then it could happen over really a period of time. And for us, when we look at it as far as a diagnosis, we look at grief spanning a year's time. Right. Typically, when we, if someone has lost someone within a year, we would diagnose as adjustment or disorder now, but grief. And so after that year mark, if you are still having trouble as far as just functioning, right, then that's when we look at, okay, well, maybe there's some other interventions that may need to take place. Right. But typically we look at, a year is a typical span for, just really actively grieving. Right, because one of the things they taught us in the funeral service psychology was that you go through the 5 stages. Tell us those 5 stages again. Okay. So, they can get those 5 stages. Right. Okay. So I have to think. Denial. Yeah. Denial, anger, bargaining. And that's bargaining is in the sense of, well, if I do this, basically, in the sense of, I think of it as bargaining. If I give something, then I can get something back. Right. Would the bargaining, if I may ask you, would the bargaining also include, well, if I would have done X, Y, Z, maybe the person would still be here? Absolutely. If I would have taken them to the doctor, or if I would have gotten there sooner. So that bargaining is a part of the grief process. Absolutely. Gotcha. Absolutely. Gotcha. Okay. Absolutely. Gotcha. And so typically after then, anger, right? I'm sorry, depression. And then the final stage is acceptance. And that is the point of accepting that the death has occurred. Okay. And then learning to move forward in your life, not to get over it, but just to be able to adjust to really a new life without that person in it physically. Yeah, right. I heard one person say, their husband, very young lady, her husband transitioned earlier this year, and she was like, he's in my future. So, that's one of her ways to deal with it. But I know they trained us also when I was in mortuary school to not take it personal. And sometimes, people will come into the arrangement conference with me, and they come in with an attitude. I don't know them. I've spoken to them over the phone. They don't really know me, they know my name, but they're angry. And so what we had to learn to do as a funeral director is when they come in, don't take that personal. They're not angry at you, they're angry at the situation. Absolutely. And so going through those steps, that's normal, that's not a sin. Right. They haven't done something wrong, that's just the process. Right. And I think what is paramount is that we give people permission to grieve. Absolutely. I cannot agree with you more on that. That is just necessary. And for us, I think we want people to be okay because it makes us so uncomfortable when people are not. That's correct. And so for our own comfort, I just, I don't feel good when you are crying. Right. Or, and you are in so much pain. And so I want you to go ahead and be okay so I can be okay. Right. And that's unfair. It's unfair. I want to hit on this here. It said this, the second part of that question said, and feel as if something was not complete with the person who transitioned. So I'm assuming, based on this question, that there was some unfinished business, or
people deal with. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye.
Right.
So kind of speak to that for me, and then we'll move on to the next question.
Okay, and so you can do different exercises per se to deal with that, whether it's to write a letter to that person.
Okay.
If you want to actually tell that person there, we could, if we were in a counseling room, I could say, imagine that mom was here, right here over here in this chair.
Mm-hmm.
Say what it is that you need to say to her.
Right.
And so it's giving that client, that person, the opportunity to finish the business.
Very good.
And so recognizing that can happen. Mm-hmm. A lot of times that can happen through just different ceremonies. You see people doing like the balloons release.
Right.
It could be lighting a candle and reading a poem or something, but something that connects them and where they get an opportunity to say whatever it is that they need to say.
Right.
And creating that space for them, a safe space
right.
for them to be able to express it. And so that's what I do in a sense of allowing that to happen, trying to create that for them where they can finish that unfinished business.
And you keep saying, which I think is very, very key and important to people getting over or overcoming issues, they have to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to be attacked with scriptures. They don't need to be beat over the head with Jesus can do this. They need to be allowed to go through the process, know that it is normal and that it's okay.
Right.
But let's hit on this. During this situation of this pandemic, many people may not know, because of the pandemic, the CDC has given funeral directors and embalmers specific things that we can and cannot do. For instance, some funeral homes, they're even taking it even further, is that they're not allowing people to come in. So you can't go through your normal wake or visitation time and then having a funeral. They're not allowing you to have funerals in the churches. You have to do graveside. So that adds another component to the grief process.
Absolutely.
So can you just kind of touch on that for just a moment? Because my heart goes out to people, they can't really say goodbye.
Absolutely. And so honestly, right now, and sometimes it is just about right now and what we can do in this moment.
Right.
It can be where, for instance, families Zoom in and really kind of grieve together and talk about the loved one, or even do something like that, community, like a balloon release.
Like a balloon, okay.
And everybody have their camera, and we do it so we're still safe, distant from each other, but we're coming together through those means to be able to grieve with one another.
Very good.
Still, checking in with each other, talking with each other, so grieving in that way. And so this time makes grieving how we typically grieve. It's just different.
It's different.
And hopefully we will be able to get back to a point where you can, attend as we would before or whatnot. And so at a later date, definitely if the family can get together and do something where they're together and support each other. But just for right now, you can use those means in the sense of getting together and talking about the family member or doing something to celebrate that person's life or something like that.
Very good. And I don't want to be morbid or make people feel eerie, but I know a lot of my colleagues keep up with the business, and so a lot of them are doing drive-throughs where you can drive through and do the viewing. You can't get out of the car. One of my colleagues, he actually has it set up under the car area where there's the remains, and they have it set up very nice. And so family members can drive by, people can drive by and pay their respects. They're doing a lot of video funerals, or zooming family in, where you can zoom into, and funeral homes are doing this, not the family. The funeral home is doing this because they understand that it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but you know what? I think about as far as even going forward, I think it's good to really kind of have an option like that for whenever, if you lose a loved one and then you have a family member, we all have family members who can't get here for whatever reason.
Or you wait 7 days, 2 weeks. We gotta wait till baby get here. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you have that means in place,
right,
then other people can be included that, for various reasons, just can't be a part of it, and it's in the typical fashion that we do. And so, honestly, right now we are just having to find the most creative ways that we can do things and carry on with just life and stay healthy and safe at the same time.
Very good. Very good. All right, very good. Let's move on to our next question here. Let's see what time. Oh my goodness, our time is almost up.
We're gonna have to come back.
We'd like to do part 2. But listen, I want to do 2 more questions.
Okay.
Next question is, what are ways to maintain good mental health after you've been through a tragic event and is now on the other side of it?
Okay.
So let me repeat that.
Okay.
What are ways to maintain good mental health after you've been through a tragic event and is now on the other side of it?
Okay. And so, definitely dealing with the tragedy. That's one thing. And I would say it's really good if something tragic has happened in your life to seek help for that.
Very good.
Yeah.
So let's put a pin there. So the first step is to seek help.
To seek help.
Don't try to do it themselves. Don't try to self-medicate.
Right.
Because that's going to bring on other issues.
It's going to bring on other issues.
Okay.
It's going to bring on other issues.
So if you need help, it's okay to seek help.
It's okay to seek help.
Okay.
It's okay. And I will tell anybody, you can, if you want to come and see me or anybody else, I don't have to have everybody. I will refer you to some people like to see men.
Right.
That's fine. If you need to ask me for another counselor, I have no issue with that because I want you to get the help that you need.
Right.
But I always tell anybody, you can come and just check it out.
Right.
Just because you start, if it's not for you, if you don't like me or whoever, you always have the option to walk away and go somewhere else and not do it at all.
Very good.
But you can give it a chance and just see, because I think a lot of times people are surprised once they get in there and then they walk out of the room because they have just expectations of it and what it's going to be. And I think they're pleasantly surprised a lot of time when they find out, so hard, or maybe I feel a little lighter when I step out of the room. But yes, definitely, if something tragic has happened in your life, it's good to seek help and have someone who was skilled as far as helping you just to kind of process that. Right. Just that event, any issues that you may be having in response to the tragic event there, because sometimes there are some things there that may be happening with you that you don't even recognize that's attached to the tragedy. Right. As a result of whatever occurred. So definitely seeking help there. And also engaging in self-care activities. Gotcha. And self-care doesn't have to be this elaborate thing where you're taking the whole day off and go to a spa day and all that. That's great too. Right. But for most of us, we don't have that amount of time. Right. We may be able to do it every so often, but just as far as a regular practice, we don't have that. Right. And so if you can incorporate several little things throughout your day that will just help you feel good. Right. And so I question my clients and I'll say, what brings you joy? Just think about what brings you joy. Right. When is it that you just feel good and you're not even trying? Right. Try to think of those moments. And so if you think about playing with your pet, walking outside, right, gardening, sitting on the beach, fishing, exercising. Absolutely. Right. And so if you incorporate just several little things, some people love warm baths, right, candles, drinking a a glass of hot tea. I mean, a cup of hot tea.
Cup of hot tea, right?
Different things like that. And you can include while you're working, you can do that. But if you really get in the mindset and really thinking about those different things that help you when you just think about it and the calm kind of comes over you.
Right.
Really focusing on that and recognizing those things are necessary for you to feel good and to feel well. They will become necessities in your life and not options. Not options.
Very good. Very good. All right, last question. We're going to end here, and I hope this has really been a blessing to you all. As I always say, ministry is all about people and ministering to the needs of people. And so that's the purpose of having it. 2 questions came up, and then we're going to end it. First question, Dr. Lovelady, is why can't I just go talk to my friend? Why can't I just go talk to Big Mama?
Right.
Or why can't I just go talk to my pastor?
Right.
What would be your answer to those things? Why do I need to pay somebody or find someone who's trained?
Okay. So, Big Mama.
Big Mama, yeah.
Big Mama.
Granny. Yeah.
Best friend. Typically, those people's view is skewed in the sense of how they think you should handle the situation.
That's so powerful. How they think.
Exactly.
Oh wow, that's powerful.
And so, and I'm speaking for myself as a counselor. This is what I try to create for the clients. When they walk out of the room, when they walk in the room, Tiffany steps out.
That's good. That's good.
I'm not in there. And so it becomes all about you and your journey and getting you to a better place. That is my sole purpose.
Right.
And I can be sitting there and think personally that the direction that you're going in is wrong.
Right.
However, for you and your path, then that's what we're going to focus on. And hashing that out and dealing with that.
Very good.
And so a lot of times those people that are closest to you aren't able to do that because they are too close to you to be able to do that and remain objective.
And Dr. Lovelady, I want to say this, as a pastor, I have referred some of my members out. Did you hear me? Yeah, as a pastor. Because one, I realized I can't be the king pastor, and not take care of myself. But number 2, sometimes I'm too close. Pastor, did you hear me? Sometimes we're too close to the situation. And we can't give them the type of care that we need because we want them to be okay. We don't want to see them hurting. And we're looking at it from our viewpoint instead of their viewpoint.
Absolutely.
That is so powerful.
Absolutely.
So powerful. And so, again, as a pastor, I can't tell you what to do with your congregation, but I'm telling you what I do. And my congregation will tell you, I tell them over the pulpit, go see somebody. You don't have to come talk to my wife and I, and we're not offended, and we're not afraid of what's going to happen, because again, just like God gives us physical doctors to deal with physical ailments, there are doctors who deal with mental issues. And us not addressing the issues, they're not going to go away because they're still there. So that's very powerful, very powerful.
And I hold your secrets too. Honestly.
Very good.
You can pretty much say just about anything in there, unless you tell me, you're gonna, those things might have to break confidentiality, and they're pretty severe in the sense of you gotta tell me you're gonna go out and physically harm somebody, or you're gonna hurt yourself, or someone is hurting you. But outside of that, you can pretty much say anything in that room, and I'm going to hold it in that space. And the biggest thing is, I'm not going to judge you for it.
Very good. Not going to judge. And I know from being a pastor, people are saying, you could just be ministering the word. Oh, pastor up there telling my business. Pastor preaching on me. I just went in the office and told him that. Right. And so for me, not that I'm afraid of that, but to cut down on that, listen, let me outsource you. You can go talk to somebody. We're here for you. Now, I'm not saying that my wife and I won't talk to you, and my congregation knows that. But sometimes we're too close, and we want you to get the help that you need.
Right.
And the secret is going to stay there. So you don't have to worry about me preaching on it. Amen. Amen. Last but not least, let's deal with the topic of anxiety. I want to be transparent. As a pastor during this pandemic, my anxiety has gone to another level.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. If you're really going to be a pastor and do what needs to be done during this time, it's extra work. And so I find myself up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So real quickly, as we close, tell us about dealing with anxiety during COVID-19.
There is a lot of just the unknown. There's a lot of information out there and just very daunting information. And so that can be very scary.
Gotcha.
Definitely. And so one thing is to definitely just monitor and be very mindful of the information that we are receiving.
Right.
Because a lot of things, and this is something that I had to do for myself at the beginning, all of the information out there, you have to look at it and see, is it pertinent to me? You know, is it really necessary as far as me and my well-being? Is it only causing my anxiety to go up, or is it necessary that I know this? Definitely information that we need to know, but we don't need to be just inundated with a ton of information.
So we haven't talked before this. So are you saying we got to watch our news intake?
We definitely, and I was, before this happened, I would tell people that all the time, especially children. Let me just say this.
Right.
Children, they probably don't need to watch news until it's about 5:15.
Right.
6:15.
Right.
At the beginning of the news, it's going to be all the bad things that have happened.
Right.
And so children especially, they will carry that. They hear that. They can be traumatized by it. But yes, absolutely, monitor your news intake. A lot of times it's just repeat stuff. So if you need to just watch the news just, once a day, get the information there, then do that.
Very good.
Instead of, hearing it over and over again. Also, focusing on the things that you can control during this time.
Very good.
Because our anxiety just comes up because we feel so out of control with a lot of aspects of our lives.
Right.
So if we change our focus to what can I be doing? What do I have control over just during this time? What can I focus on? Then that helps with the anxiety.
Very good.
Is this an opportunity for me to focus on self-care?
Right.
To exercise more or whatever it may be. Then, excuse me.
That's okay. That's okay.
Just focusing on that. And doing, again, just those things in our lives that we can control.
Okay.
That helps as far as lessening the anxiety. Doing those self-care things that I talked about, especially the ones that are very calming, helps as far as anxiety overall. Walking, yoga, mindfulness activities, listening to music.
Listening to music, very good.
Drinking the tea, taking a warm bath, candles.
Right.
It's just all these different things. If you think of as far as maybe if I put a candle on, sometimes my mood
will change. Very good. Very good.
The sense, engaging the senses helps as far as with anxiety.
Very good.
So absolutely engaging in just those different things will help during this time.
Very good, very good. Well, again, family, friends, I want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Lovelady for offering her time and her assistance. Again, we're going to post her information once this broadcast is over. But if this was a blessing to you or it empowered you, why don't you like it and share it? Again, mental health is not going anywhere, and we're going to have to deal with it. There are going to be some things that we've never had to deal with before as a church after things get back to what we consider normal. So we're trying to give you tools and put things in place now that can help you on down the road. We're going to have to deal with people who are having post-traumatic stress syndrome from not being able to properly grieve. They've lost someone to COVID-19. So we're going to have to deal with that. And a lot of places they're going to come to the church. But I want to warn you, if you don't have the tools for them, then they're going to seek it somewhere else. So, again, thank you so much, Dr. Loveday. What I want you all to do, if this was a help to you, why don't you give us some hands up or some stars or some, just say yes, type that in yes. If you know somebody else that was a help to, let us know. And by that way, we'll know, do we need to do this again? I would love to do it again.
I would love to.
And I think it's very, very important in the African American community, but for everybody, but particularly in African American community. So our time is up. I believe in being timely, but thank you all so much. We love and appreciate all of you, and we will see you the next time. Remember to like and share, and remember also to give us some yeses that this was helpful. All right? Y'all have a great rest of the evening. Go do something relaxing. Stop watching all that news, Sister Lionel, Deacon Tyrone Pierce. Stop watching all that news. But go do something relaxing and have a good rest of the evening. Love you all. I'll see you soon.